Hello everyone, Dust here, and welcome to this Hearthstone video. We'll just have a little disclaimer at the start. My dog is in the background having a little chew, so excuse that audio, but you know, you're welcome. So you've seen the title of the video. Why is Warlock getting absolutely destroyed this meta? And why I don't expect to see a lot of him. I'm just going to look at the class cards here, rather than go into all the neutral possibilities as well, just because class cards is what's supposed to make the class very strong. So let's get straight to it. Why is Warlock getting screwed? Boom. There you go, this little guy. 4 mana 4/2 Sea Devil Stinger. I don't even really want to talk much about this card because it's so useless. Well, I mean, if you're going to play Warlocks, this is actually probably one of the cards you want to include in your deck. But because there isn't too many new Warlocks this expansion, especially those with any particular worth, this card is just pretty garbage. Because if you just use the regular Warlocks, the best one you can probably hope to get with this one would be maybe not even the War Leader. I think it would be the Warlock that gives you an extra 2 health to your Warlocks. But even then, going with, you know, instead of costing health instead of mana isn't a problem for Murloc decks. Like, with Murloc decks, literally, if you haven't dominated them by turn 5, you've lost. So, is this going to be the way Zoo has to go nowadays? I don't think so. I think this card's pretty trash. This is actually one on neutral. I just really wanted to shout out to this card. I saw this card released, and I was like, yes, this is exactly... This gave me hope for Warlock before the rest got released. But 3 mana 1/1, Sergeant Sally. Death Rattle deal damage equal to this minion's attack to all enemy minions. So obviously the synergy here is going to be Power Overwhelming, which is absolutely phenomenal. It does take up 2 cards, which is a big thing, and Dark Peddler is leaving the meta after this next expansion. So in a relatively short space of time, the consistency for this card will go down. But for the time being, it's got a much greater chance to be successful. It is actually fantastic for Warlocks. But yeah, the meta looks like it's going to be a bit scary for this one. So we're going to go on to one that actually is my favourite Warlock card that's been released this expansion. Let's get to it. Cabal Trafficker. 6 mana 6/6. At the end of your turn, add a random demon to your hand. So I've always screamed out for Warlock to get value cards. And they've always had Jiraxxus, but Jiraxxus is turn 9. And without any relative sustain or a mass board presence, it's just impossible to play Jiraxxus, especially in like a burst meta, which we've actually kind of phased out a little bit. So you have seen a little bit of Jiraxxus coming into the Reno locks. But stuff like this is putting down great stats. 6 mana 6/6. Obviously, you're just below the Bold Fist Ogre vanilla line, but getting a random demon to your hand, it should actually be, you know, relatively good. You're getting that. What can you hope for? What's going to be it? Like, there's a lot of trash demons, but if you look for something mid-range as your kind of average, this card's actually pretty decent. Refills your hand, so if you want to play that Elise, man, God, you've got some fuel. But with other cards and the challenges you're going to face, it's going to be really tricky in this next meta to get away with playing this card. I'm playing Warlock in general, but we'll get on to that. We go on to pretty much my second favourite card that we've seen released here, and it's the Fellfire Potion. So it's... If you look at the Hellfire, 4 mana for 3 damage, this is like a straight transition. It's 6 mana, so you're paying 1 more mana for the damage, but it's to all characters. It's also really nice as to consider as a finisher, not just as a board clear removal. So this could have dual utilities, because we've all played that game in Zoo where we've got dominated, and now with 5 health minions almost dominating the meta with the Shaman Taunt. Even Zoo's playing Darkshire Councilman, but Zoo has started to disappear. Aggro in general has. You need to be, you know, having a second backup plan, or you know, that win condition where you can survive and gain value. So yeah, this is nice. This is actually more value than Hellfire. If you're playing Reno Lock, which you can only play for a short period of time, it's a great addition to that deck. Let's pop on to Abyssal Enforcer, which attaches the Hellfire to the 6/6 stat lines. So in terms of value, this card is great, but as we've seen, value doesn't seem to be winning many games as of late. It is all about the what you can cram into a minion. So I always reference it, the 6 mana 5/5 Taunt for Shaman. That effect is great because you can just drop that down with your regular turn. This is going to be pretty much your entire turn. 7 mana 6/6. What else can you afford with it? You know, a coil if you're lucky, but you can't be combining this with any of the other removals that are really noteworthy unless you have a Thaurissan, and that's disappearing as well. So I don't think this card is as strong as it looks. It will go into Reno deck lists, and Kazakus maybe if Warlock can somehow generate something. The problem they're having is they're not going to get that value that other decks can. Hashtag Jade Golems. But in terms of a card, in terms of Arena, it's absolutely fantastic. But in Constructed, I don't think we're actually going to see too much of this card. Well, I don't think we're going to see much of Warlock in general. But let's move on. This one's actually really interesting, the Unlicensed Apothecary. 3 mana 5/5, so obviously stats are really premium here. Whenever you summon a minion, deal 5 damage to your hero. So obviously you have full control over this. And remember, it is summoning, so that's got to be played from your hand. So if you have stuff on the board, you know, you're fine. This can just be something to add on to a board that's already dominant. But if you are in a Zoo style deck, then you know, if everything else phases out, your opponent isn't going to be in too much of a hurry to get rid of this if you're in a Zoo deck. So maybe you can see some sort of buff Demon Lock with another card we're going to get onto next. But in terms of this card and evaluation, you could play it in Control as well. 3 mana 5/5, and then you just use spells to kind of keep yourself in the game. But it is obviously very, very strong and really interesting. But I mean, when you look at other cards in the game, obviously, you know, you've got the meme of the 4 mana 7/7, and 3 mana 5/5. It's just not that broken anymore. Like, it's pretty broken, but classes can deal with it. Flame Tongue Totem, sadness. But right, let's go on. So this is Blood Fury Potion. This one actually got quite a bad rep. Give a minion +3 attack. If it's a demon, also give it 3 health. Bear in mind, you have, if you're going to put this in your deck, you're playing it in a demon deck. Obviously, it's a Warlock class. This can be a random potion you obtain for other classes, and obviously then it really sucks. But +3/+3, it is really strong. Obviously, we've seen it in Demon Fuse, and this doesn't give your opponent a mana crystal. You've only got to put it on a demon as its only condition. But the one big downside of this is that the minion that would absolutely love this card is Imp Gang Boss, because it has that incremental effect, and that card's leaving pretty soon. So when that does, Blood Fury Potion gets a hell of a lot weaker, and you don't really want to put this on a big stat minion, and demons either are complete trash, which don't really want this effect, or they are insanely high statted, and it just makes them more of a removal target. So I imagine you'll see this card briefly, but not in high quantity. I don't think it's as bad as people make out, but as soon as Imp Gang Boss goes, then, you know, rest in peace. We then go on to why Warlock is truly getting screwed. I think with these next few cards, it's just it started off good, and then it just gets consistently more trash. And we start off with Blast Crystal Potion, 4 mana direct removal. Destroy a minion? Wow, that's pretty good. And one of your mana crystals. You know, that's the big kicker here. We've seen this, like, in, you know, Warlock's the only class that kind of has that. Get rid of your mana crystal. Shaman overloads, and we know how punishing that can be. The only way they get around this is that, like Totem Golem, you get to play a turn 3 minion on turn 2. So turn 3, that can still fight on the board. With Blast Crystal Potion, if you're playing this mid-range, you're spending your entire turn destroying a minion, and that means next turn the initiative is the opponent's. They can drop a new minion, and you're still stuck on that same mana you have on the previous turn. And as Warlock, you really value your mana crystals. The only way you could really play this in Control Warlock is, I feel like, turn 10. Because you can play that, you're going to get your mana crystal back the next turn. But even then, you know, does it fall short to Siphon Soul? Healing is such a premium in Warlock, and that is just not existent in the cards that I've shown you here, which is what I was really looking for in the Warlock, to be honest, if they're going to have any sort of sustain. And this is not the swing card. Like, honestly, I think I'd rather run BGH, even with BGH being so, you know, like, not always that easy to hit in the meta now. I'd still rather run that than this, because you get that body as well. And it's why Jade Golems is strong, because I always said if spells like deal damage and summon something like Maelstrom, that is the direction Hearthstone kind of needs to go, because spells don't give you enough value, and this is crushing. You know, if people go, oh, it's not that bad, have you ever seen anyone play a Felguard turn 3? It's, you know, 3 mana 3/5 taunt is phenomenal, but taking off a mana crystal, especially in your mid or even late game, is absolutely crushing until you've got your full amount. It's definitely something you can't afford to coin, or you'll just throw away the game. So I think this card is absolutely trash. In Arena it's okay, but you know. Constructed, no thank you. We then go on to Crystal Weaver. Battlecry, give your demons +1/+1. So this is I just think it's an awkward card for a deck that seems to be dying. Again, because Imp Boss is here and that loves to get buffed, this card is going to see some play for a short period of time until the next expansion rocks out. But 4 mana is actually a nice kind of place to give your demons +1/+1. The problem is that I don't think Zoo's going to have much of a chance up against stuff like the Grand Goons. This does seem like a Grand Goon card. It's going to be good against the Jade Golems because you just got to get all your stats on the field and punish the opponent without playing the slower Jade Golem, archetype. But I think the problem here is that once Imp Gang Boss is gone, you're going to have the Voidwalker and Flame Imp, and beyond that, you're not really going to want to buff any of the other demons because they come along much later, and you need to play this on curve because it's aggressively statted. And if it only hits 1 minion, then it's not terrible, but I don't think it's going to be enough to save you from the wrath that comes in. Because 4 mana 5/4, if it's 4 mana 4/5, I would give it a much higher rating. There's a lot of stuff that deals 4 damage quite easily, and health is much more of a premium stat than attack now. But it's not bad statted. I just don't think this card is going to be the saving grace post. Basically for the next 2 years, because we're going to have a couple of months of like this messed up period where you're going to have the most cards you're going to see in standard for quite some time, because then you're going to see 2 expansions rotate out next year, well at the start of it. Then we come on to, I thought, Warlock has not been having the time of its life here. Please give it a good legendary. We've seen Cho'Gall, and Warlock can't pay life because it doesn't restore any. It's just like, just keep taking damage to the face, it's okay. It just means that Warlocks have to be played aggressive, and this legendary is just clunky to me. And it's Cruelty Unshackled. People have given this mixed response, some saying it's very strong. I'm more definitely on the side that it's very weak. Excuse me. 9 mana, 7/9, stats are pretty trash. Battlecry, for that, like if you're going to play something late game, it has to do something instantly, and here you can argue it does. Battlecry, if your deck has no duplicates, summon all demons from your hand. So this means, like, the dream scenario here is you drop this and you have double Doomguard for a finisher. So this is more of a value play. There isn't many demons with Taunt, so this is like you're playing your stuff and you haven't got any more mana to do anything else with your turn, and you're just hoping you have a turn where your opponent doesn't have any board clears, or even your health isn't low enough that you can get bursted, because this is the all-in play. If you play this and your opponent has any sort of board clear, you pretty much just lose the game. And if you have no duplicates with your demons, like, what are you hoping for here? You've got the Dread Infernals, the Abyssal Enforcers, but these all have battle cries that you're going to be playing to try and survive to this point, because you have to be tapping along the way as well. And as soon as Reno is gone, I don't think this card has any chance of seeing play, because how the hell do you get to turn 9? If you're just up against stuff like Mage and Hunter, they chip away your health, and then when you drop this down, they're at that mana as well, because you can't ramp up as Warlock. And they're just, they just go, oh, you're all in, well, I've got the burst. If not, you might be lucky and get through, but I just don't think this card is all that at all. Which is sad. It is, it's very sad. We're going to say, rest in peace to Dank Peddler. Look at that white trim. Brilliant. It's, so overall, I'm just not really impressed with Warlock, and it's disappointing because obviously it's my favourite class, but whilst Reno is here, you're going to see a slight pillow to Warlock. All I can hope is that in the first expansion of 2017, they give Warlock a chance and give it a chance for healing. Because it's pointless, it's absolutely pointless them having cards like Cabal Trafficker, where they're going to get value, if they don't live long enough to make benefit of this value. So, all in all, I think Warlocks are going to be in a really, really tough spot post-meta. I even think for this first bit, it's going to really struggle. It doesn't seem it can outvalue stuff. outvalued the other control decks, and the cards seem a little bit misplaced, you know, pointing no fingers. Get out of here, Sea Devil Stinger. I don't even think I'll experiment with it, but let me know what you guys think. Do you think Warlock not having any health gain is a bad thing? Do you think it's going to absolutely crush the meta? But I'll see you on the other side of this expansion, and never know, I might be wrong. But thank you guys for stopping by. I'll catch you next time. Peace out.